Right, so with 7 of the 22 races completed this year so far, I thought now kind of would be the perfect time to go through and predict the entire of the 2027 F1 driver lineups. We'll be looking at some of my teams which don't need much changing and other teams with a lot more to talk about. So with that said, let's get into it.
McLaren. So I've gone with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
You've got the reigning world champion in Oscar Piastri, who kind of dominated the first half of last season. Both of the drivers right now seem to be really happy with the car, aside from all of its reliability issues. I can't see why either of these drivers would become a bit unhappy this year, unless there's more problems with the tyre rules, but considering they're not fighting towards the front, there would be no reason why either of the drivers would become upset. I think if the car definitely doesn't become quicker in 2027, I could see maybe Oscar looking elsewhere, even Lando as well, but right now they both seem really happy. Zach Brown obviously loves his drivers and wants to keep that pairing, especially considering how young they are but are also so quick. If they can get on top of these issues, I think we'll definitely see them there for long-term future. This car has shown that it can be fast, like when we picked up a 1-2 in the sprint out in Miami, but aside from that, they need to develop this car a lot more, I think, if we're going to be able to catch Mercedes and Ferrari, who are kind of just that good bit ahead of them.
So then, speaking about Ferrari, I've got them staying the same with Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc.
Before Monaco, Leclerc announced a new contract with the team. His current one was going to go through until like 2028 to begin with, and now with his new one, it's going to go all the way into like 2030 or 2031, it's kind of guess. Definitely seeing Leclerc at that team for the long-term future. So then with Hamilton, he picked up his first win with the team out in Spain, now making 106 wins in his career. He's now only sitting also 41 points behind championship leader Kimi Antonelli. Could Lewis challenge for the 8th championship with the team? I really hope so. So I do think that unfortunately means that Behrman's going to have to wait in the wings for a bit longer before getting the call up.
Mercedes, another lineup I don't think is changing, so Kimi Antonelli and George Russell.
Kimi Antonelli has just come off of an absolute generational run. He's just won his first 5 Grand Prix back to back, which is absolutely insane considering this is only his 2nd season. He's absolutely dominating his much more experienced teammate. I think we could be seeing a long-term contract being announced with him very soon, as I just don't think Toto will want to have Kimi slip through his fingers the same way that Lewis did. Onto George, he has had his fair share of reliability issues, mistakes from the team, but he also, I do think, has been making a couple of mistakes on his own, like only qualifying P6 out in Monaco whilst his teammate was on pole. Although he is safe for now, I do think he needs to pick up the performances so that he can then prove to everyone why he was the championship favourite coming into this season.
Audi, yet another team I'm not changing. I think they're good with Bortoleto and Hulkenberg.
So far, they've had a pretty quiet debut out in the sport. They've only picked up 2 points, which were out in Australia during the opening race of the season, where Bortoleto managed to finish P9. Hulkenberg has been really unlucky not to get any points so far, but I do think that Audi don't need to change their lineup. They've got the experience with Hulkenberg, and then kind of a long-term future with Bortoleto, who has kind of shown everyone how quick he is out on track, as he's quite often not only matched Hulkenberg's pace, but sometimes even been quicker than him. Hulkenberg once again has been so unlucky this year. He's had so many issues with the car. However, Audi kind of just need a stable lineup to help to develop their car for the future.
Racing Bulls. Now this is the first change of the video where I've gone with Arvid Lindblad and Nicholas Solov.
Lindblad has done everything he needs to justify why he deserves a seat in F1. After picking up a P8 on debut out in Australia, he's kind of shown to everyone why Red Bull thinks so highly of him and why I think he's definitely going to play such a key part in their future. I can definitely see Lindblad one day making the step up to the main team. However, for right now, I think being in that junior team, having time to develop as a driver is exactly what he needs. Alongside him then, I've got Nicholas Solov. Unfortunately, this does mean I have dropped Liam Lawson. I do think his 2 races for Red Bull last season have kind of tainted things for him, because I can't ever see him getting the promotion transition back up to the main team again. However, ever since going back into that Racing Bull seat, he has shown great pace, but unfortunately that team is there to kind of get the young talent in, and if Red Bull aren't going to promote him, there's no point in keeping him there. So then to replace him, I've gone with Nicholas Orlov. He's having a great season out in F2 at the moment, with 2 feature race wins and a sprint win out in Miami. He's currently only sitting 6 points behind the championship leader. It kind of feels like only a matter of time before Red Bull give him the shot in F1.
Haas. So this is another team where I'm making a change. I'm going with Ollie Behrman and then Rafael Camara.
Behrman is having an absolutely fantastic start to his second season in F1. He's currently on 18 points and massively outperforming his much more experienced teammate who's currently only on 2 points. He's kind of shown the whole paddock why Ferrari have invested so heavily into his future and why Ferrari see him as the next person to go in and take over one of those seats. I think right now he's more than happy to spend a couple more years at Haas before getting the call up. However, he does need to keep on performing like this. So then I do unfortunately think the Esteban Ocon's time in Formula 1 is over. Around the Canada weekend, there was rumours about him getting dropped mid-season. I don't think these are true. I do think he will get the rest of this year. However, after this, I think his time's over. So I do then think that Ferrari will be pushing to get Rafael Camara in that seat. After winning the Formula 3 championship last year, he's just won his first F2 race during the Spanish Grand Prix weekend. I do think, on the other hand, not a lot of people are talking about him compared to when Ollie Behrman was coming through the ranks. However, I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. There's just not as much pressure and stress on him to do well, which I do think it means he can go out there and just perform and then show to Ferrari that he does have the pace and the speed. So as long as if he can then keep on doing what he's doing this year and kind of try to challenge for that F2 championship, just like what they did with Charles and they're doing with Behrman, I do think Ferrari will then push to get him in a seat. So this will be such a strong lineup for Haas.
Aston Martin, I've gone for Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda.
So then, I do think Alonso will be retiring at the end of this year. It does start to feel as if Alonso's career is coming towards the end. Out in Barcelona, he did say he probably won't be returning to the track. Although the track isn't on the calendar next year, it just kind of shows that Alonso is thinking about his retirement. He is now 44 years old, his first child has just been born, and on top of that, Aston Martin are racing at the back each weekend, struggling to finish each race. So then you do have to think, how much longer is Alonso willing to do this? So then, to replace Alonso, I think Honda will be pushing to get Yuki Tsunoda in that seat. I think Honda will be wanting a Japanese driver to get into that seat, and they've got the ties with him through his time at Red Bull. Tsunoda proved that he had his pace whilst he was in the Red Bull Junior team, and unfortunately, as we've seen with so many other drivers, being in that second seat at Red Bull doesn't always mean that you get to show off how quick you actually are. So I think having Honda, Aston Martin and Yuki Tsunoda is such a strong pairing for the future. And then there's Lance Stroll. As long as if his dad owns the team, I do think that Lance Stroll does have a guaranteed seat, which I do.
Alpine, I think they're sticking the same with Pierre Gasly and Franco Colapinto.
So at the back end of last year, Gasly signed a contract extension with the team, which is going to take him through to about 2028 at the moment, and honestly, he's having such a strong start to the season, probably one of the best starts to the season he's ever had in his career. Colapinto's done enough to prove to me that he does deserve another season in F1, kind of cleaning up his whole act and not crashing as much as he was. Alpine have come out in the new regulations with such a stronger car after dropping the Renault engines. They're currently sitting with Gasly being P8 and then Colapinto P12 in the Drivers' Championship, and the team is currently P5 in the Constructors. The only reason I don't feel fully confident in my predictions here is because Flavio Briatore is currently leading that team, and as we've seen in the past, the man can be so cutthroat, so he's currently the only reason I'm not fully confident with my Gasly Colapinto lineup for Alpine.
Williams, Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz.
For me, the Williams lineup is definitely one of the most underrated driver pairings on the grid. However, that said, I do think it has been a really disappointing season for Williams so far. After they missed the shakedown at the start of the year, they are clearly way behind the performance where I think they expected themselves to be. I do think they will stick with the same lineup, however, I do think that if the performance from the team doesn't improve, towards the end of this year and then into next year, Sainz will definitely be looking at his options. I do wonder now if he has regretted his decision in joining Williams, as it is now known that he had offers from Alpine and Audi, as I do think that James Vowles kind of sold him a dream which just isn't happening right now. So I think if the performance doesn't improve, Sainz will be going somewhere else. Albon, on the other hand, this is his 5th season with the team, and he's definitely a key figure in trying to rebuild that team. Realistically, I don't think there's anywhere else which is better for him at the moment. Realistically, I don't see there being anywhere better for him, and he seems really invested and embedded within the team to try to take them back up to the front.
Red Bull, I've gone with Isaac Hadjar, and then I think Max Verstappen will stay.
The FIA recently announced that they'll be moving the engines towards a 60-40 split instead of the current 50-50 split for the 2028. So I do think this has encouraged Max to stick within the sport a bit longer. I do think he will stick with Red Bull. That said, so many key figures who helped Max win his 4 championships at the team have left, like Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, and now GPs going off to McLaren. So all the higher ups and key people who helped take Red Bull onto dominating so long in the ground effect era, with them leaving, the decline has clearly shown within the team. With so many important people in the team leaving, it's kind of shown at the moment the performance of the team just declining. How much longer is he going to stay with the team? As for Hadjar, I think keeping him at the team makes total sense. He's currently 9th in the championship on 34 points, with Max only being 21 points ahead of him, and at the moment he's done the best job that a Red Bull driver has done in that second seat since probably Daniel Ricciardo back in 2018.
Cadillac. For the newest team on the grid, I've gone with Perez and Bottas.
For Cadillac, I think having the experience is crucial right now. Both drivers have spent years fighting up at the front, so know exactly what it takes to build a winning team. Although Colton Herta is in F2 at the moment, he hasn't set the world alight. He's currently only P13 in the standings, with only 4 points finishes across the season so far. So at the moment, why would you put him in there? I think giving him an extra year in Formula 2 to help him develop as a driver, whilst then also keeping the experience of Perez and Bottas, is what the team needs. Having that stable lineup to help further the team forward. There we have it, my full 2027 F1 driver lineup predictions. Let me know down below, what do you think of my predictions, and where do you think that Max Verstappen will be next year? We can come back to this video in a couple of months' time and have a look at how wrong some of these are, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.